as you probably would know if you know me and haven't been knowing me for any amount of time, I don't have much to say. And, that rightfully so. We got a lot of work to do. Obviously, University of Georgia's a SEC team. I've often said that when you go to an SEC venue, normally you find an SEC team. Well, this probably is an exceptional SEC team. I know they've had some question marks about maybe a couple of players, but the quarterback looks like he's good enough to do whatever they want to do. He's as good as probably any of those that we were able to win the SEC with in the late 80s at another SEC place. And, he does a good job getting the ball to the right people. And they spread it around pretty well, and they got skill certainly at running back. Gee whiz. Anyhow, enough talk about Georgia. They got their own PR people, and we were basically unable to do very much in stopping them. We were basically unable to move the ball on them, and we even gave up some things in the special teams, which is we've been decent at. They caught our little rugby kick on the one hop twice, and we looked like we were glued to a couple of those guys and didn't make any plays tackling the returner, and so a little work to do there too. Maybe some changes in personnel, moving around, and so here we are. We're headed into conference season. Probably one of the best teams in our league is Monroe, and we sort of got everything in reverse this year. We're playing all the hard ones early, and so that's basically all I got to say. I know y'all got some questions, so we'll try to field them and answer them as we go here.
Silver's be available on Saturday?
I really don't know. I'd tell you if I knew. I think he's better. I don't know if he's ready to go to the practice yet, and he'll need to practice, before we can put him out there. I'm hoping that maybe Chuck and them let him try it a little bit early in the week to see if he's able to continue and prep for the game. If so, then he'll be in the mix. But if not, it'll be Dontrell. And Dontrell really, obviously wasn't perfect, but wasn't great. But I think he did some good things and against a really good team, and we just need to get him the reps he needs to, and maybe do some things for him with the package, with the offense that he could do better, moving him around and getting him outside and getting him away from rush and different things to let him see downfield better. But really, basically by and large, what Dontrell Pruitt needs is snaps. He needs snaps in the practice, and to learn exactly where he needs to go with his pre-snap and post-snap reads, and that, I think that's much time in practice is what Dontrell needs. I know you asked about 12, and Silvers is a good player, and I hope we can get him back and probably still play both of them.
You mentioned going against Monroe in the first game here, and obviously Monroe's kind of been a tough place for you guys historically to play. Haven't had a lot of success in the road. Hoping to turn that around this time.
Well, I sure, yeah, that would be my wish. We changed hotels. I ain't staying next to that railroad track this time, I promise you. And but Monroe's been a tough place for us to win. I think we won in 2006 though, which is was the first of the 4 or 5 straight championship runs, and but I tell you what, it would be some great medicine for this football team to be able to win on the road like that against a good team and a well-coached team, and Todd Berry has proven himself to me as one of the best in the business, really, and in our league also.
Talk about their defense.
Well, their movement is problematic. They move around. They know where they want to wind up, but they'll show you a lot of stuff in pre-snap and standing up, moving around, cross charges, twist. But they gonna still be in gap control when the ball turns over, and simple coverage wise, so we just got to make sure that we know where they are and get them blocked up, and when we got to read in the secondary, we got to read the right guy and go to the proper place with the ball, and I don't think they're impossible to move the ball on. They have given us trouble before a little bit with that stand up and run around stuff. And I really think their guy does a great job. He knows where he wants them to be, and he knows what he's trying to stop, and he knows where that back lines up. If that back lines up here, he wants these guys in a certain gap up front and at linebacker, and they don't start out where they're going to wind up. So almost every time they'll move around and give you some problems that way. I think they're good. We'll have to have a great plan and execute it.
How much does it help your confidence that Cole Browning is not their starting quarterback anymore?
Well, that don't help my confidence or not. I'm glad he's not there, though. He was a heck of a player.
A lot of players use the term clean slate when we talk to them about that. Those games are behind them, all conference ahead of them. Is that a good mentality to have?
I'd say. I mean, you're a smart guy. You know that's a great mentality to have, because they all were L's. They all were losses, and you need to put those things, learn from them, put them out of your mind, move on. And those guys that dwell on the negative can't play this game.
What are you saying to the guys to I guess maybe help them forget those four?
Well, I've tried to shoulder the burden of the responsibility for my part of it and the staff part of it. We gotta coach better. Number one, we gotta practice better. Number two, we gotta play better. Number three, that's how you gonna win a game. Period. There ain't no earth science to that. I mean, that's simple, and so that's what we're preaching. That's what I'm preaching, and I hope some of them are preaching that to each other, because that's what we got to do. I don't think we're a real mature football team. We got some guys I think should be leaders. Sometimes you have to push them into that role, though, and see if they won't positively affect the rest of them.